Sparrow. I'm 11 years old, and my favorite land in Magic Kingdom is Adventureland.
Hi, I'm Stitch. I'm 8 years old, and my favorite land in Magic Kingdom is Tomorrowland.
And I'm Tony, their Disney dad. And my favorite land in Magic Kingdom is Fantasyland. Welcome to Disney Discussions.
Aloha.
Welcome to episode 34 of Disney Discussions. Disney Discussions is a family-friendly podcast where me, Tony the Disney dad, and my two boys,
Sparrow,
Stitch,
discuss all things Disney. This week, we discuss the main topic, which is an interview we did with the former Executive Vice President of Operations at Walt Disney World, Lee Cockerell.
Lee Cockerell.
We got the Disney Media Pick of the Week, Disney Trivia, and the Question of the Week.
Question of the week.
Welcome to Disney Discussions. Hi, everyone. How's it going?
Good.
Hope you guys had a good week.
Yes, we
So
watched Thor, Ragnarok, and Infinity War.
That's right. We'll get to that in a little bit. You noticed we don't have news on the docket today.
Yes.
And that's because I figure our interview with Lee Cockerell was so good. I want to get that up front. We'll do news the next time on our 1-year anniversary show, which will come out on August 29th. I was saying 28th before. It's actually the 29th. I checked when our first episode came out last year. So we'll have our 1-year anniversary. And I think even the Disney mom may make an appearance. Her first ever podcast appearance. But yeah, we saw Thor Ragnarok.
Yes.
What'd you guys think of that?
I liked it. I really liked it. I was waiting for Stitch to say something.
Stitch got scared, I think, right?
Yes.
Was that? Yeah. So he left. But that's okay.
There's one question I have.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to the girl that was with Thor? Whatever happened to her? We didn't hear from her in Infinity War. Did she survive?
What girl that was with? Oh, the Valkyrie?
Yeah.
They don't say, but they said, the director said that she's survived because only half of the Asgardians got killed in Infinity War.
Yeah.
So she's part of the half that survived.
Also, I think she'll make an appearance in Avengers 4.
Maybe.
Do you mean
We'll
Thor
see.
Ragnarok? Because I'm
Yes.
pretty sure. You mean Thor Ragnarok, right? You said Infinity War, half of the...
Yeah, in Infinity War, half of the Asgardians that were on the ship got killed.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep, and we also saw Infinity War again. We got the our Blu-ray from the Disney Store, and we pre-ordered
That
Solo
was
already.
my first time seeing it, though.
Yeah, what'd you think of Infinity War, Stitch?
It was really good, but this is kind of weird. It's a weird opinion. For my opinion, the best part was when everybody was disappearing.
Yeah. Did you have any other favorite parts? Any good lines? Any scenes you really liked?
You should have gone for the head.
Yeah, it's a really good movie. Check it out if you
Check
don't
out,
have it.
Me and Dad's thoughts about it on the Infinity War spoilers review.
That's right.
And I asked them questions, and that was a bad thing because I just saw it, and now it was very predictable for me.
Yeah, it was a little spoiled for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all right. Be sure to check out our last episode, too, if you haven't. We had an interview with Kevin from Defunct Land. Really good episode. All right, just before we get into the main topic, I just want to remind you where you could find us online. Our podcast, which you're already listening to, is on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify. Just search for Disney Discussions. And, of course, everything we talk about is on our website, www.disneydiscussions.com. If you ever have any questions or tips or tricks that you want to send us or anything we want to cover on a future show, email us at podcast@disneydiscussions.com. We also have merchandise with our cool logo on it at shop.disneydiscussions.com. We also have other merchandise on there that's not just our logo, some cool Doctor Who and Disney and Marvel. You can get t-shirts and notebooks, phone cases, stickers, so check that out.
Not our cool new logo, our awesome new logo.
And there you go. And, of course, we're on social media. We're on Twitter, Disney_Discuss, Instagram, Disney_Discuss, Facebook, Disney Discussions, and YouTube, of course, where we have some unboxing videos and these podcasts. But sure to follow us on social media. We post pictures and some of the things we don't always talk about here on the show. So be sure to follow us there. And that's where you could answer our question of the week. That comes up later. You guys ready to get right into the main topic?
Main topic.
All right, so we had the pleasure to talk to Lee Cockerell, who used to be the Executive Vice President of Operations at Walt Disney World, all of Walt Disney World, so all the parks, ESPN, all that kind of stuff. So it was a great conversation with him.
But he retired.
Yeah, he's retired now, and he goes and he speaks to other companies. You'll hear me mention that in the interview. Be sure to check out leecockerell.com and get all his stuff. Let's listen to that right now.
He also has a podcast, by the way. Okay.
Now we're going to go listen to the interview. Welcome to Disney Discussions. I'm Tony the Disney Dad, and I have
Sparrow. Stitch.
here along with Mr. Lee Cockerell. Lee Cockerell has held various executive positions in the hospitality and entertainment business, including Hilton Hotels, the Marriott Corporation, and then joined the Disney Corporation in 1990. He is the former executive vice president of operations for the Walt Disney World Resort, and he's now an author, public speaker, teaching leadership, management, and customer service. Thank you for coming on our show, Mr. Cockerell, and welcome.
Happy to be with you and happy to meet you boys.
Why don't we start off? Why don't you give us a little bit about your life journey and how you got to where you are, how you wound up at Disney, and a little bit what you're doing now.
It's a miracle. I grew up on a little farm in Oklahoma, and we were just as poor as could be. We didn't even have indoor plumbing. And my brother and I didn't know we were unhappy till we went to somebody's house that had it. But kind of like air conditioning. You're not hot till you find out somebody has air conditioning. Right. So my mother, actually, we were poor. My mother was married 5 times, which was not great. And I've been adopted twice. I got my name Cockerell when I was 16 by husband number 4. Oh, wow. And he had money, so I got to go to college. I went up to Oklahoma State for 2 years, and I didn't do well because I didn't study because my parents didn't enforce good study habits at home. And so I dropped out after 2 years and went in the Army. And when I eventually got out of the Army, I went to Washington, D.C. and got a job with Hilton as a banquet waiter. And I eventually, about 1.5 years, 2 years later, I got into a management training program with them, and I stayed with Hilton for 8 years and worked in Washington, Chicago, New York City at the Waldorf, Astoria, Los Angeles. Then I left. I joined Marriott and stayed with them for 17 years. I eventually became the vice president of food and beverage operations for Marriott worldwide. And then, and that's because I really focused on learning a business, and I chose the food business and learned it well and got better at it every day. I always tell people, become an expert in something, you'll always get a job. At least I can get a job as a waiter. Then I got recruited by Disney in 1990 and to go to France and open Disneyland Paris. And we did that. And I stayed with Disney 16 years. I ran Disney World operations here in Orlando for about 10 years. And then I retired and started my own little consulting and speaking and seminar business. And I've been doing that for 12 years. And I wrote 4 books, which are out there in the world on leadership. One's on leadership, one on management, one on how to overcome the obstacles in your life, really, that are going to appear, and one on time management. So that's kind of my quick career, and my wife and I just celebrated our 50th wedding anniversary.
Wow, congratulations.
I did better than my mother.
Yeah. That's great. I mean, that's amazing story, going from, a waiter, or, even someone who can't even, finish college, a waiter, right. And then you're essentially, one of the guys running all of Walt Disney World. And that includes Magic Kingdom, all the parks, ESPN, all that. Wow.
Everything, right. So it was a surprise to me. But I always tell people, don't underestimate what you can do. You can, even if you didn't do great in school, you can still keep learning. I think sometimes I was immature, so I didn't understand the whole thing. I'd never been anywhere in my life. I spent my whole life in Oklahoma. And so I just didn't know what was possible. And, when you grow up like I did, you're kind of insecure. So you think, well, I can't do anything. But once I got out and saw the real world, and went to Washington, D.C., and New York, and Chicago, and L.A., I saw there's another part of the world. And if you work hard and do a good job and keep learning, you can get ahead. Yeah.
That's great.
I still think I can never beat a waiter.
You can.
I'll just eat the food.
Everybody should be a waiter because you really learn to work under stress. You learn to be really nice. That's how you make tips.
Yeah.
And it's just gives you I think everybody should do it. All our grandkids have worked in the food business because while they were in high school, 16, 17, 18, because it makes you more extroverted. It makes you have more ability to talk to people and to have a conversation. So it's good in many ways. And And you really got to be organized because the guests want their service to be good. And many of them are celebrating birthdays, anniversaries, important occasions. And you can mess it up or make it great.
Great tips. So, in a few years, you guys will be waiters.
No.
Put them to work. They can start at home.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They can serve you and your wife every night.
Oh, that'd be great.
And
they do. They're
dishes.
pretty good. They're pretty good. They've been doing.
That's good.
Yeah. Along your way, I know it's a lot of hard work. Did you have a lot of people mentoring you and helping you achieve your goals?
Well, I didn't have a lot, but I had one when I first started. He was really an expert in the food business, and he taught me everything. He kind of liked me, and so he just showed me the way. And then I had a great mentor when I was with Marriott that helped me with some of my defensiveness. When you're insecure, you don't like feedback about your performance,
Right.
but he helped me get through that. And then I had a guy in New York who really helped me understand the business and spent time with me and helped me become more professional and all those things. So, yeah, I'd say those three people made a huge difference in my development.
You were at Marriott for 17 years. That's a long time to be at a company. Why switch to Disney?
Well, I had been there 17 years. I had a great job, and I got a call from Disney, and I went down to Orlando and had the interview. I didn't expect to take it. And I came home, said to my wife, I said, they offered me the job in Paris. What do you think? She said, let's go. He wanted to live in Paris, and so she said, Lee, if you don't take this job, you'll probably have regrets in 5 years you wish you had, because first you get to live in France, you get to live, they're going to pay you, and you get to work for Disney.
Yeah.
And so I did it, and we just took the risk, and it turned out to be the best decision I ever made. My career really took off after that. Got to take a little risk.
Absolutely. When you first started at Disney, what surprised you the most?
Oh, I think the attention to detail and the entertainment. I'd been in food and beverage, and Marriott did a great job with the food and beverage, but Disney it's everything. It's like putting on a Broadway show. Everything matters.
Yeah.
Everything matters. The music, the sounds, the smells, the props, the attention to detail, just at an extreme level, more than any place I'd ever worked before. And they're telling stories and putting on a show, and that was different. And it was nice to learn that. That's quite how I try to do my podcast now, is just tell stories, and people like stories. And so, yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah, it's great. And I mean, it's amazing that started from Walt himself, and that's carried through all these years later. That it very easily could have been, when Walt passed away, the company went to different hands, that attention to detail could have gone down. And I'm sure it's ebbed and flowed over the years, but it is kind of the gold standard nowadays.
Yeah, it really is. And he did set a strong example, just like you're doing as a father. Your kids are going to go off in the world, and they're going to behave and do a great job and be ethical and honest because you set the right standards and you were the right role model. And Walt was focused on making people happy, and just like fathers and mothers, they love it when their kids are happy. And he set a strong. And by the way, what he preached and showed us, and was really, all of us in business are putting on a show every day, and make sure you're putting on a hit show. And when you start thinking about your business that way, you think about it differently.
Yeah.
You think about, okay, now we got to be better in every area. We want this show to run for another 100 years, not just on Broadway for 2 weeks and then close. So, and there's a lot of competition today. You got to be great.
Yep.
So yeah, he was a great role model, and a great role model for risk-taking, too.
Yeah, absolutely. I've just
Incredible.
recently read a few biographies about Walt and digging into that, and amazing the amount of times that he failed, but he wouldn't let that get him down, and he learned from those failures and continued on and did amazing things.
He failed so many times.
Yeah.
It's amazing. God bless him.
And what a lesson. And I think in the business world now, I'm seeing a little more of the acceptance for failure is okay as long as you learn something from it. There's that whole agile process, and some of that is going out and just trying something and see the results you get back. And if you fail, well, just make sure you learn something for the next time. And I think that's just great advice for life in general.
Absolutely. And by the way, we're all going to fail at something, so you might as well get used to picking yourself up and getting on with it.
Like we failed at our first podcast.
We did.
There you go.
It was, that's true.
But you kept doing it. So that's the name of the game. It's you find a better way, a better approach, and
Exactly.
you should always do that. Or ask for help. Or when you ask for help, go find an expert to help you be great.
Also, we failed at our first interview.
You did.
We had some problems, but we again learned from it, and we did it again, and it got better. Yeah.
Yeah, if you've never done it before, you're not going to be great the first time. You're going to get better as you go along. And that's the way life works. You know more by this time next year than you do now. So
Absolutely.
Especially the kids. They get smarter every day.
Smarter than me already.
Exactly.
Now.
So a lot of your podcast and your books are managing and focusing your time each day, and then reflecting on how you did the previous day. How did you first come to that and realize how important that is?
Well, I was always pretty disciplined. I was the guy who was home on time for dinner. My brother was always late. But I had a lot of discipline to do the right thing, but I didn't have a system on how to apply that. And of course, as you get older and you get more responsibility and get married and have kids and all these other things that happen in your new job and new people working for you, you got a lot coming at you, as you know.
Yeah.
And getting the kids to school and doing this and that. And so I took a time management course in 1980, and I learned a lot about being more organized, more disciplined, a good system for how to do it, how to stay on top of things. I wish they taught this in middle school, high school, and college, because most people don't teach how to think about how you spend your time every day. And a lot of people are really struggling right now with anxiety over all the stuff that's coming at them, and college students too suffer anxiety of the pressures. So I think it helps you in every area. And I started practicing it, and I would say it's probably, besides me having a good attitude, it's probably the number one reason that I had so much success in my life, because I became very reliable, credible, keeping my promises, doing what I said I was going to do, and frankly, working on the right things instead of just keeping busy.
Yeah.
And saying no more often to people when it's not of any value. And you can't be nice every day. You just got to learn to say, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that. And because you got to take care of yourself, your family, your job, and then all of a sudden you start to do the right things and life gets easier. I always tell people, when you do the hard things, life gets easier. When you take the easy route, life gets harder.
Yeah.
That's just became a part of who I was. I started teaching it, which helps you even more live it. I probably taught it to a couple 100,000 people by now at Marriott, Disney, outside clients. And every time I teach it, it reminds me of what I should be doing, and for me to rethink how I'm doing that. Or when I read a book on time management, that's why I wrote the book on time management, Magic was, and just to put my thoughts into writing. And it helps me to get back on if I'm not doing something I should be doing, or exercise, or getting my annual physicals, or having a hard conversation with somebody, or making a hard decision. Those are the kind of things that are really important in life, and a lot of us don't want to do them because they're hard. Yep. So then we let them go, and then we have problems later. That's how I got started with it.
That's great. Yeah, and as I get older, I realize your whole day is filled with decisions you make. You can easily just kind of let life push you along, but there are conscious decisions that we have to make, and I think organizing our time helps us make better decisions. And you're kind of stress having a physical day planner rather than doing things digitally, which I think is great, because then you're taking time, and there's something to writing something out physically and then reading it as you're writing that kind of implants it in your brain. It's just a way for you to take that time, think about what you're doing, and then make those better decisions. And when it's all just in your head, we very easily forget things, and we make those wrong decisions. So I have your book. I've been reading it. I have the download of the daily planner, and I'm thinking we homeschool the boys, so I'm thinking of even making that kind of a class that we do at home to kind of manage our time, because we could play video games, but we still have schoolwork to do, we have chores to do, we have books to read. So how do you manage that?
Yeah. Well, it's true, because it's a lot of the times when it's just in your head, you just kind of navigate to the easy thing.
Yeah, yeah.
It makes you feel good. You got something done, but maybe it didn't even matter. And so that's why it's so important for me to sit down every morning and write down, okay, what do I need to get done this week and each day, and to really think about the important things. When you start thinking in that order, you're going to see it in the book. Thinking about yourself. Are you keeping fit? Are you doing what you say you're going to do? Are you getting your annual physicals? Are you second, thinking about your children and your wife? And third, you think about your business, your podcast, and then whatever. Aging parents and grandparents, are you going to have to take care of them? What do I need to do about that? Your retirement, your own career development, taking a course or learning something new. I mean, there's so many things that people don't even think about. Next thing they know, life gets away from them, and they go, whoa, I didn't work on that. And should have. So,
yeah.
You don't want to have regrets.
No, absolutely not.
Do you have a favorite Disney villain? Animated.
Oh, a villain. I don't care so much for the villains. But
Me
my
too.
favorite
I just had to pick one.
Yeah, mine is my favorite character is Tigger, actually, because he's pretty active and crazy, and jumps around and is high energy. So I always think of Tigger. But I guess there's a lot of bad ones in there somewhere.
That's okay. It's better to look at the heroes for role models anyway.
Yeah.
Like Mickey.
Even Disney bad people are good.
Yeah, that's true.
Mickey.
Have you seen the new Christopher Robin?
I have not. I read about it, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, actually, we haven't seen it either. We're going tomorrow is the plan, so we're excited to see that. Looks very cool.
That's good to get homeschooled. You get to go to the movies.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. What is your favorite Disney theme park?
I would say it depended how old my grandkids were as we went along, but when they were little, we went to the Magic Kingdom all the time. Yeah. And as they got older, they would like different parts of each park, and since I worked there, we could go. But I would say my wife and I enjoy Epcot. We like to go over in the afternoon, pick one of the countries to have dinner in, and then watch the fireworks, and that kind of is our routine now. But when the kids were younger, it depended. When they were real young, they didn't like the thrill rides. They didn't like the roller coasters. And then when they got a little older, we had to do that. And then I have a granddaughter. She wanted to buy pink things, dresses and it just different changes now. Right now, they already got the Halloween party going on. Not so scary Halloween party. We like to go to those, and we'd go to the Christmas event, and wine and food festival is a lot of fun, and the flower and garden festival is a lot of fun. And so we just kind of pick things different depending on what's going on over there.
You get to go often?
We don't go so often anymore. I tell people, say, why don't you? I said, well, I worked there 16 years. I went every day for 16 years.
Right.
But occasionally we go if we have guests in town or they want to go over or go see the fireworks or something like that. But and I don't go much in the summer. I go when it gets cool again. Yeah. It's fun. And Disney Springs, the new shopping area, I mean, it's incredible. It's gotten so big and so large, and so many things to do there.
They really did a fantastic job with that. Like the shops and even all the food there. It's a great destination to go.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And again, with the theming behind that, there's a story behind everything there, and the sections they have and how it evolved. It's really, really amazing.
Always a story.
Yeah.
Actually, I went to Hong Kong Disney, too. That was great. And I like Disneyland in Anaheim. Of course, I spent 3 years in Paris at Disney.
Right.
So some fond memories there, too.
We're actually going on Disney Cruise on November 10th.
Wow. You're a lucky boy. Did you tell your dad how lucky you are?
They know.
Yeah.
They're very appreciative.
Yep.
That's a great crew. You're going to love it.
Yeah, we're excited. We leave right from New York, and we've never done a Disney cruise before, so we're very excited.
They're incredible. You're going to be. I thought Disney World Service was great until I went on a Disney cruise. They just do a perfect job. Very excited.
What's one of the craziest things you've ever experienced at your time at Disney? Something that just stands out, a story you always have to tell about your time at Disney?
Well, I tell you, the hardest day I had probably at Disney, and day I was the most proud was on 9/11. All the cast members really did a great job that day. We evacuated all the guests from the parks in 90 minutes. We took care of everybody, took care of them for almost a week because they couldn't get airline tickets. They couldn't get rental cars, were all gone. Wow. It was just nice for me to stand back and watch how well the cast members all stepped up, because we practiced for crisis 2 or 3 times a year. So everybody knew what to do, and we did it perfectly. And those are the times when you really say, wow, that's amazing. Or we had 3 hurricanes in September of 2004, and how our cast members just got out there and cleaned it up and got it done. And we had 1,200 trees down on the property.
Wow.
And so those are the kinds of things that are really cool and to watch. But even to go to the parks when there's a parade and watch the little kids, they just are so excited they can't stand it. And
even the adults too, right? You see the adults waving at the characters on the floats.
Same old story. If the kids are happy, mom and dad are happy.
That's you, Dad.
It is.
Yeah, so there's a lot of good memories over there from things over the years.
I actually did have a question about 9/11, because I know that affected kind of the industry for a bit. 9/11 happened, there was the recession. How did that change the way you did your job?
Oh, well, that morning changed everything. I had a plan for the day, and forget the plan, forget the day planner for now. We lost 35% of our business through cancellations that week, actually.
Wow.
And so we had to cut around $400 million out of our cost base to get under control, and we had to change hours and close a few things and figure out ways to have less staff and not lay them off. And it was really tough, and we worked on that for 3 or 4 weeks to get it in place. Then the recession was pretty tough, but by Christmas time we had a pretty good business again. Nobody flew, everybody drove, so our parking lots people were parking on the grass. There was no parking lot.
Wow.
Yeah, because nobody wanted to get on an airplane back then, and so it came back fairly quick for us. And then during the recession, we just discounted heavily to make sure people we wanted the numbers of people there, because we still got to shoot the fireworks. We still got to have all the characters. We have a large overhead. So we made deals that people couldn't deny coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The free dining, right? I mean, I think that came about as part of that.
Oh, all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your favorite Disney Magic Kingdom attraction?
Magic Kingdom. Well, I'll tell you, I spent a lot of time in the early days on Buzz Lightyear because my grandchildren were trying to beat me with the scores of shooting those things. And they got better and I got worse. So I would get beat more often than I liked. Yeah, it was fun. And, everybody has their favorite, but that was one, they were at the right age then that they just wanted to go over and over and over again. And I think that's because it was so interactive, where you had something to do besides just sit in the car and ride around. A lot of fun.
So when you're executive vice president of all of Walt Disney World, there's a lot of people that report to you. I imagine that hiring the right people is so important.
Well, there's 3 things we do at Disney that make the difference at Disney, and any company could do it if they'd pay attention to it. We hire better, we train better, and we treat people better. I always say, hire them right, train them right, and treat them right, and you'll have a great organization. That's what we do. Those 3 things are the key to Disney's success. We hire the right people. We are very careful who we bring in. We train people, we test them, and then we enforce the training. And last, we try to create a great culture where everybody matters and they know they matter, and they wake up in the morning excited to come to work because the way they're treated and respected and included and involved and listened to, and their opinion counts. And that's the kind of environment people want to be in. And if more companies would pay attention to those 3 things, they'd have less turnover, they'd have more profit, they'd have happier customers. I mean, those are just, as Walt said, never get bored with the basics. And those are the basics: right people, right training, right culture. And just in your home, you're working with your kids to educate them. You can't pick them; you already got them. So you got to develop them. You can't fire them.
Nope.
So when you do those things, and you and your wife create a good culture and good role models, and teach them the right things, the odds that they're just going to be great are greatly increased. And that's what we think about in business too. People won't be committed to you unless you're committed to them. And your kids don't think if your kids know you love them, then they're going to be there and they're going to do the right things. And if our people know that we respect them and want to treat them right, they'll give us more.
That's great. I wish more businesses did that.
Yeah. It's, you know why people don't do it? Because it's hard.
It's hard, yeah.
It's easier to be mean, I guess.
Well, it's easy to be selfish, right? You think about yourself rather than others, so.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
When you start thinking about it, my grandson said, when you serve, you're always the giving one. And that's a good thing. My granddaughter said the most important rule in customer service is to be nice. And, just think about that. Be nice. We could all do a better job of that. Be nice. Yep. And always give it all you got. Do your best. Every day, do your best. And then people will realize that. They'll have a better life, and you'll have a better life.
Yeah, there's a little bit of movement I see, at least in the technology industry with the Agile movement. There's a servant leadership, which I think is great. And, there's a great example. We're Christians, so you see that in the Bible with Jesus, but it plays in your everyday life of being a servant leader. You want to take care of your people. You don't want to view them as, well, how can you take care of me? It's how can I take care of you and get you and help you do your job better?
That's why I always say, manage like a mother. Mothers serve more than anybody. Mothers are my best leaders in the world. They're committed. They go all the way. They can have the hard conversations. They can tell you they love you. But they care about you. It's never for them. It's always for you.
That's right.
Yep.
And fathers too, but mothers are really different, special.
Absolutely. Did you have a normal day-to-day at Disney, or every day was just so different?
I had a fairly good routine. I got in at 6:15 in the morning. I planned my day, worked on things. Then I had a meeting started maybe 8:30. I pre-scheduled time to go out in the parks every week and meet the cast members, talk to guests, see how things were going, check the bathrooms, all that kind of stuff. And so I had a pretty good schedule. I plan my day the best I can, and then when things come up, I have to be available to handle those, whether it's a crisis or an emergency or something. But other than that, I use my day timer and plan my day, and I schedule the priorities. So if I want to make sure I get out on the parks, you can either do it when you get time, which is never, or you can schedule it next Wednesday from 10 to 2. And then when you schedule it, keep your appointments with yourself. Next thing you know, you find out you're doing what you're supposed to be doing instead of what you wanted to do or thought you would do or forgot to do, and time goes by.
It does. I'm finding that out even with the boys. I look at them and like, how did 11 years go by already?
Oh, they'll be gone before you know it.
So you just kind of hit on it, but schedule time for yourself. Like if you know you need a break or time to read, put that in your schedule. How important is that?
Well, it's important to put in your schedule what you want to get done. Yeah. And, I schedule my exercise. I have a strength training and a balance training I do on Tuesdays and Fridays at 9:40. That's scheduled all the way. I always pre-plan, schedule things that are important to me, whether it's going out to meet somebody or to read a book or in the afternoon. I leave time in my calendar when I was at Disney to do things that came up unexpectedly. I always scheduled all my son's events and my grandkids' events. The minute I heard about them, I scheduled them so nothing else got in the way. Right. And, as they say, take care of your family first, then take care of your job. And Mr. Marriott asked me once, he said, you know why I don't have any problems at work, Lee? I said, no, Mr. Marriott. He said, because I have no problems at home. Think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't be distracted by not having the right relationships and spending the right amount of time with your sons and wife and then have regrets. I wish I'd have spent more time with my kids when I was young. I wish I'd exercised. I wish I'd gotten focused on my retirement. I wish.
Yeah, exactly.
What did you do in your spare time?
Well, I wrote books. I exercise. My wife and I travel a lot. She goes with me. We've been all over the world. I've been to 44 countries now. Whoa. And we take naps. She and I go to lunch together. On weekends, we go out to whatever events are around town. But we travel quite a bit. We just spent a month in Italy. We rented a house there. We spent a week in Ireland. And most years, we spend a month in France. We rent a house, and all the family comes. we have dinner with our grandkids and family on Sunday nights when they're in town, and just stuff like that. Nothing too much. I don't play golf. That's why I'm still married after 50 years. I spend the weekends with my wife when I was working. During the week, I was busy. I didn't see her much, a couple hours a night. And then on weekends, we did things together. That was great. And I'm a terrible golfer. Nobody claps when I play golf.
I'm going to play golf.
Good. Well, when you start your age, you'll probably be great at it. I didn't, and it was very frustrating for me. I should have. You know what I didn't do? I should have done. I should have had a trainer. I should have had a coach, because it's like everything. If you have a coach in swimming, you swim better. If you have a coach in golf, you play better. Tennis, better. Like, absolutely. I mean, and that's something I've learned since then. That if you want to be great at something, get an expert to help you do it, and then practice. Yeah.
What are you most proud of with your time at Disney?
I think I would say that by the time people trusted me, and they would tell me what's going on, and that we created a better culture and an environment because we taught all our leaders how to show total and complete respect to the employees and to help develop them and train them and treat them as individuals and be available when they had problems and issues, and creating a good culture and environment. That's what your mom and dad are going to be proud of, is creating the right culture and what they're teaching you guys, and what they teach you, you're going to teach your children. And it's just, I can't say culture and environment is probably the most important thing for our being raised. You guys are going to grow up very confident, feel good about yourselves, feel good about the relationship you have with your parents. And not all kids have that. And it's a matter of when you got your parents, you got lucky. You could have got other parents that you might not have been so lucky. But so that's what I think about more. Am I making a difference? Am I a teacher? Are people better because they worked with me? And I don't think of myself as a boss. I try to teach. Yeah.
Fantastic. Again, I wish more people thought like that.
Well, your kids are going to think like that. See, you're a teacher. And your wife's a teacher, and everything you say and do, they're watching you, these kids.
Yep.
They know. They
sure do.
I see everything.
Yeah, they do. And they don't want to disappoint you either. Right? You don't want to disappoint your mom and dad?
Nope.
Right. Good for you.
So one thing I heard recently on your podcast that I really liked is when you're given a compliment, just say thank you. Don't qualify it. Don't bring yourself down.
Exactly. That's all. And I used to do that because I was, people say, oh, you're great, Lee, or yeah. Or, I got a letter the other day, and I showed it to my wife, this lady from, where was she from? The Ukraine. Okay. She had read my customer rules, apparently, and she wrote me a letter. And she said, an email. She said, Mr. Cockerell, I just want to tell you, you're a genius. And I showed it to my wife, and I said, see? You can call me genius now. She said, oh, God, I wish you hadn't got that. Now I'm going to have to hear about this. And no, I just learned after that, just when somebody compliments you, don't try to say, oh, no, that's not me. Just say thank you. Appreciate that. It's just the right thing to do. Thank you. And when somebody does something for you, you don't have to say you shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry you did that. You didn't need to go out. Thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Yeah, that's great advice. And, it's funny. I didn't think about it until you said it, and then I realized, I do that. I do say, oh, thanks, but, or, well, I could have done this better. Right? Just say thank you. There's no need to qualify that.
Yeah, and they don't know you could have done it better anyway, right. So don't tell them. Yeah.
What do you miss most about your time at Disney?
Nothing. Actually, I worked there so long, and I worked for 42 years. What I really like now is what I'm doing now, because I do seminars, I give speeches all over the world, and people write me notes and tell me how much they appreciate it, what they learned. And my son and I are going to do one in Zurich, Switzerland next month. And then I have one in London coming up in November, one in Indianapolis, all over the place. And I like that. I'm my own boss. I work with who I want to work with. I don't have to do what I don't want to do. It's fun to visit Disney, but like any job, it's hard to work there. You got to recessions and tough decisions and a lot of stress. And so now I enjoy what I'm doing now. It's just another phase of your life. I loved Hilton. I learned a lot there. I learned a ton of things at Marriott, and I learned a ton at Disney, and I'm still learning every day when I work for companies or meet with companies or just meet great people. And one big advantage is when you work at Disney, just about everybody you know is from Disney. And when you work doing what I do, I meet people from all over the world and different companies, different kinds of jobs they have, and products and things I didn't even know existed. And so it's a lot of fun. Yeah. And I'm doing a lot more in colleges and high schools too. I've been hired from many colleges and high schools to come work with students.
Oh, good.
So that's even more rewarding.
So along that lines, what advice do you have to those going into the workforce or looking to be better workers and leaders?
Well, I tell them we look for at Disney, and I think every company should. We look for first a good attitude and passion that you really want to do. You want to be there. You want to do that kind of work. Passion and attitude are the two big things we look for. And then third is skill. And a lot of the jobs we have, we can train you. So that's not as big a deal. Depends. But even if we need someone with a high technical expertise in IT or a lawyer, we're still going to wait until we find the lawyer that's really smart and knows what he's doing. But he's got to have a good attitude and passion. So those two are always non-negotiable. And then we train them right. And I think the thing we do better is also we set high expectations for performance. You got to be great. And I would tell people going in the workforce, become an expert in something, be great, have a great attitude every day, and you will be very successful, because a lot of people don't have a good attitude. They have a look on their face. You tell them they got to work Christmas Day or Saturday, and they look at you like, what? Yeah. And I always just said, no problem. And I kept having a good career and good promotions, and just be that kind of person people like to work with, and don't be a pain. And next thing you know, life works out. And because not a lot of people are not trying too hard. Yeah. So, and I would say don't underestimate the influence you have on other people. Every day, behave yourself, be respectful, and don't underestimate what you can achieve over time. What you think about when you're 20 is far different than what you can really achieve. A lot of people have insecurities. They have all kinds of reasons. They didn't have a college degree. They grew up poor, blah, blah, blah. No. Just forget all that. As somebody said, forget the past. You're not going there. Yeah. And you're going forward. And people don't know all of that in the past. It's all in your brain. Forget. Half the stuff in your brain is not even true. And that's what controls us. The things we think, or the things we're afraid will happen that never are going to happen anyway. So we don't risk, and we don't try, and we don't understand that if I study something for 3 years, I'm going to be an expert in it. And then I'll only be 23. So you just got to get out there and decide what you want to do, find something you have passion about, you're excited to go do it every day, and go do it. And become the best in the world at it. And every day you study it, you think about it, you go on the right websites, you read about it, you probably have friends that do it, you ask for advice. Next thing you know, and by the time you're 30, people say, wow, that's the guy you want to go to. He knows everything. And most people don't try that hard.
No. And we have now with the internet and access to all this information, what great opportunities we have to learn new things that weren't there before. Even when I was in college, the internet was just starting up and we didn't have all this. The opportunity that the kids now have, all that information, is great, and they should take advantage of it.
They could homeschool themselves without you. And in fact, you have no excuse for not knowing. If you don't know the definition of a word and 5 minutes later you don't know, that's your fault.
Yeah.
If you hear about a country and you didn't even know it was a country and you don't know more about it in 5 minutes, it's because you didn't look it up. You got to have curiosity. If you don't have curiosity, you're never going to get smarter. And you got to know that, hey, that was something I didn't know, and I'm going to find out. I look up things every day that I don't know the definition of a word, or something in the world, or I see something on the news and I click on it to read more about it, and next thing you know, you just get smarter and smarter, and you come off better, you make better decisions because you have a lot of knowledge in your brain now. And so, yeah, you're right. There is absolutely no excuse for not getting better quicker.
So you have a window on Main Street in Walt Disney World, is that right?
I do.
How amazing is that?
That was pretty cool. They surprised me with that because you usually have to be there about 25 years. And they gave it to me, and I just love it.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is.
Cool.
It's over the jewelry store on Main Street, so next time you're there, go look at it, take a picture of it, and send it to me.
Do.
Yeah, we'll definitely look for it. Next time we go, we'll look for it.
Yeah, it was great. It was quite an honor. Yeah.
Very few people can say they have a window on Main Street.
Yep.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. So, and again, if you'd have told me back when I was 20, 30 years old, you're going to have a window on Main Street, I was going, what? There's no way. I didn't even know they had windows on Main Street. So, yeah, your best days are ahead of you, probably.
Yep. People are interested in your writings. Where can they find you online?
You just go to my website, Lee Cockerell, COCKERELL.com, and everything in my life is on there. My podcast you can find there, or you can find it on iTunes or Stitcher Radio or iHeartRadio, or you can, my books are on there, descriptions of my seminars and speeches are on there. I put everything in one place so that I'll know where it is and you'll know where it is.
Yep.
So LeeCockerell.com.
And it's all great stuff. I recommend everyone to at least subscribe to the podcast and get those, weekly nuggets, 15 minutes. You have time for 15 minutes to listen as you're driving and just great advice.
By the way,
tips.
Need to tell you, I was at the airport going to Shreveport, Louisiana a few months ago, and there were 3 young girls behind me, probably 14, 12, and 10 or so. And they were with their dad, and I noticed them. And before I got on the plane, the youngest one tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Are you Lee Cockerell?" And I said, "What? Yes. Why?" Her dad stepped in and said, "Well, Lee, the reason they know you is they get homeschooled, and every Tuesday we listen to your podcast, and they have to write a report about what they learned."
Ah.
And it was pretty amazing. So I gave them all a pen. I had some pens. So now they love me, and that was great to hear. And they said we just think about it as an educational opportunity, talk about leadership, management, customer service, treating people right, and that little Disney spark in there. The girls like it. And so there you are. So you never know what impact you're having on people out in the world, right. Especially with your podcast. You're reaching people that you don't even know you're reaching. Yeah.
It's cool. And that's why I wanted to have you on, because you have that Disney background, but you have so much information to give to other people. I wanted people to hear that. So thank you for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, good to talk to you guys. Thanks for checking in with me. And,
yeah, it was fun.
Thank you, too.
Well, that was interesting.
Yeah, it really was. I enjoyed that conversation. That was good.
It was.
Some good insights in there. So be sure to check out.
Like you said, you should get curious.
You should be curious. Yep. So
Put your nose where it doesn't belong.
All right. Be sure to check out LeeCockerell.com. You can subscribe to his podcast, get a free download of the Magic Morning Planner, and more. What did you guys learn from that interview? What can you take and apply to your life, Stitch?
Be curious.
Be curious?
Be curious and stick your nose where it doesn't belong.
What else? No, but are you being serious or are you joking around? Yeah? No,
I'm not joking around.
He said that where it doesn't belong?
No. I said that part, but he said be curious.
Be curious. Why is it important to be curious?
'Cause you can learn new things.
Yeah, why is it important to learn new things?
So you can become smart.
He said you could look it up on the internet or read a book. I think reading a book is a better option, but go on the internet if you want to.
All right. And that goes into our Disney Media Pick of the Week.
Media Pick of the Week.
Brought to you by MickeyChats.com, a magical place to chat all things Disney.
That's right. So our Media Pick of the Week is Lee Cockerell's podcast. So just go to LeeCockerell.com/podcast. It's LeeCockerell.com/podcast. The podcast is called Creating Disney Magic, Lessons in Leadership, Management, and Customer Service. It's a great podcast. He'll have some stories about his time at Disney, but also what he's doing now, how to be better leaders and managers in your jobs. It's really good stuff. So, and as he recommends, he ran into somebody that they homeschool and they make a lesson out of that. So maybe we'll do the same thing. Maybe you could do the same thing too. So be sure to check that out. Now on to Disney Trivia.
Brought to you by TeePublic. Go to shop.disneydiscussions.com to get our merchandise.
That's right. So
our merchandise
with our amazingly awesome logo.
So our trivia this week is going to be all about Kilimanjaro Safari. So we're going to take a little quiz to see how well we know Kilimanjaro safaris. You guys ready?
Another one of these.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
How many questions are there?
4. It'll be quick.
Wow.
How long is your expedition through the Harambe Wildlife Reserve? Is it 10 minutes, 14 minutes, or 18 minutes? Stitch, what do you think?
18 minutes.
Sparrow?
14 minutes.
I'm going to say 18. 18 minutes. It is
Yes.
18 minutes.
I knew because when you give the option of minutes, would you want the ride to be? I would want the ride to be like the
Longest one.
long.
Yeah.
So I would pick the longest.
Which baby animal was born this month, August 2018, at Disney's Animal Kingdom? Is it a baby hippo, baby mandrill, baby giraffe, or baby flamingo? Now, if you listened to our last episode, you would know this answer.
I
The
know.
only reason I know this is because it was,
What is it?
baby mandrill.
Baby mandrill.
Baby mandrill is correct.
Because
Good job. You
Today's
guys are
my
paying
birthday.
attention. How large is the Harambe Wildlife Reserve? Is it 99 acres, 101 acres, or 110 acres?
I'm
Oh,
going
this-
101 acres.
101.
Now this is something I would go like big.
Big. So you say 110?
101.
101? Okay, we'll go 101. No, it's 110.
Oh, I
So
should
really
go
big.
with 110.
Last question. Which animals will you see on Kilimanjaro safaris? Hyenas, zebra, crocodile, all of the above.
All of the above.
All of the above.
Yep, that is correct. All right.
3 out of 4. That's
Yeah,
better
we're
than
pretty
our dinosaur quiz.
That's true. That's
Or we
true.
got 2 out of 4.
That's what the Kilimanjaro safaris is one of my favorite things to do in Animal Kingdom.
That
Expedition Everest.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying one of, not my
Dad.
favorite.
No, okay.
you actually pressed the button for the answer of the question before I said
Oh,
what I wanted. Just telling.
Cool. That was fun.
yeah. I like these little quizzes.
Yeah,
they're
fun.
definitely fun.
All right.
Disney have more of them.
You guys ready for our question of the week?
Yeah.
Question of the week.
Well, first let's hear the answers of the question of the week last time.
Well, first let's say what the question was, and then we'll hear the answers.
Okay.
All right, so last week's question was, what is your favorite Pixar movie? So on Instagram, the Disney mom said Up is her favorite. Our Disney mom. That's not her name.
Yeah.
Well, your Disney mom, my Disney wife. It'd be weird. Anyway, we had on Instagram, Chapalate said, my favorite Pixar movie is Toy Story 3. Thanks, guys, for your podcast. Hope be streaming with you someday. Well, thank you very much. Alyssa M. Baddock said, my favorite Pixar movie is any of the 3 Toy Story movies. Grew up watching them, and I love everything about them to infinity and beyond. Somewhere in particular said, I'm not sure if it's my favorite, but I bawl like a baby through multiple parts of Up. And then Paige BH19 agreed with our Disney mom that Up is their favorite. On Facebook, Kara Hughes said, Reese loves the Pixar short Lou because he thinks he is cute. I love this one too, as it has a really important message and tackles bullying in a very cute and heartwarming way. I can't help but cry every time I see it. So this was the short between in front of Cars 3.
Yeah.
All right, so I didn't even actually see this one.
It does have a good lesson.
Yeah,
In a cute and warm way. You're
that's
right.
good.
You're right.
All right.
That
Samuel Gino86, Samuel _ Gino86 on Twitter, said, Finding Nemo, it is a timeless story that exemplifies a powerful idea and very important idea. Even the most cowardly people could go on a terrifying adventure to save a loved one. Very nice. Love of the Mouse podcast at LOTM podcast, Matt there, who actually did our awesome logo,
Yeah.
said, Wall-E, it's a fantastic overall film and the themes presented throughout are more relevant to life than any other Pixar film to date. Plus, the fact that it is a silent film for 3/4 of the movie while still being so compelling and beautiful makes it all the more impressive.
Yeah, I like Wall-E too.
Yeah, I've never seen the whole thing. I've seen bits and pieces, but I like what I saw.
It's
I
a
need to
good
sit.
movie.
Yeah, I need to sit down and watch it one time.
I watched it with my friends.
All right. At Lovin Disney 08 said, gotta go with the one that started it all, Toy Story. The toys, characters, music, it has everything you'd want in a movie. It brings out the kid in all of us and is a timeless classic, simply the best. At Starwind 2020 said, Monsters, Inc. I like the way it touches on more of a lighthearted side of monsters instead of the scary stories we were once accustomed to. It's fun, charming, emotional, and Mike Wazowski is one of my favorite characters. Yeah, I like Mike too. Wasn't that your pick, Sparrow?
Yes.
Yep. And then at Dingus Bringus said, Incredibles. Ever since I was a little kid, I loved it, and now that I'm older, I can appreciate it in a new way. All great picks. I noticed nobody said The Good Dinosaur. Interesting.
Thank you.
Or Brave. No Brave either.
Thank you. Again.
Oh, well, looks like I'm the only one that listens. Well, I hope there are more people, but I hope there are people that like it. I'm pretty sure they all forgot about Coco because that was a really good movie.
Yeah. Coco is a really good movie. I think it's so new that a lot of people don't have that as their favorite. I think in a couple of years, people might say it's their favorite after watching it a few
Came
more
out
times.
last year.
I know, but it's still new. It's the most recent Pixar movie.
It is? It is?
Yeah.
Hmm.
There has been one since then. All right, so this week's question week, we want to know what your favorite land in Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom is and why.
What is it?
Yeah.
Why?
What are
Tell
the lands?
us.
Can you tell us all the lands?
Adventureland, Fantasyland, Tomorrowland,
Frontierland,
Frontierland,
Liberty Square,
Liberty Square,
and Main Street.
Main Street.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm walking right down the middle of Main Street, USA. Hey.
I'm falling
look,
right
there's-
down the middle of Main.
Oh, look at that. Woody's right up there.
What?
I'm falling right down the middle of Main
What?
Street.
Oh, the Funko Pop. Yeah,
Yeah.
Woody's watching us.
Funko Pop.
All right.
Woody.
Thanks for listening. We really appreciate it. We hope you liked the interview. We have some more interviews coming up.
Yes.
In the future, we actually talked to Lee's son, Dan, who was the vice president of Magic Kingdom up until May this year. That interview will be coming soon. We also have part 2 of Kevin from Defunct Land coming out later, and we're trying to get more interviews. We're also thinking about doing some Disney discussions, discoveries on certain things, so doing a deep dive into certain Disney topics. What topic would you like us to do like a deep dive discovery on, Sparrow?
Marvel.
Marvel? All of Marvel in general?
I don't know.
Like I'm saying, like a ride, a movie.
A movie.
What movie?
Infinity War.
Okay.
Soldier.
Okay. Stitch, do you have a movie or a ride or a theme park or something you would like us to
actually,
go and research and do some information on?
Tower Terror.
Tower Terror ride? That's a good
That
one.
would be cool.
Mickey Mouse.
Oh, that'd be a good one.
I think.
Little history of Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, we could have a history of Mickey Mouse
All right.
episode.
That'll be our second question of the week. Let us know what you would like us to do,
Yes.
kind of a Disney Discussions Discovery on. And Disney Discussions Discovery on
Deep down.
Shark boy.
what subjects you would like us to talk about. All right, thanks for listening. We really appreciate it. Again, if you listen to us, be sure to rate us and review us on the Apple iTunes podcast store or wherever you listen to us, Stitcher. You could also give us ratings. Even Facebook, you can give us ratings. Just do that. Tell others about us. If you know people in your life that love Disney, let them know that this podcast is out there. And we already gave our social media. Just search for Disney Discussions. We are there. You could tell your Alexa or your Google Home to play us. Just say, hey, the name of the device. Play the latest episode of the Disney Discussion.
We don't want to go wrong.
Yeah. Play the latest episode of the Disney Discussions podcast, and it will do that for you. And if you want to reach out to us, you can do it on social media. If you want to do it privately, email us, podcast@disneydiscussions.com. Thanks for joining us. And be sure to listen next week for our 1-year anniversary show.
Yahoo!
See you real soon.
Hello.